Hari Om, and I welcome all the wonderful Balakrishnas and Vivekanandas to today's Mahabharata story. So in the Mahabharata adventure, we have so far seen that the mediation between Kauravas and the Pandavas by Sri Krishna has failed. Duryodhana has denied that he will not share even as much as 5 inches of a land. So he now wants everything to himself. He has become very greedy. He has become quarrelsome. So now there is no other way than to fight a war and to bring a lesson to him. Otherwise, if such behaviors are encouraged in society, it will create a disaster for everyone. Would you like if someone comes to you and snatches your thing away and doesn't want to return it back to you? It won't be a nice place. You can always request them to return it back, but if they are unwilling, you have to take the right next step, like maybe calling the police or calling somebody else for help and see how to bring the lesson to that person who's behaving like that. So similarly, Sri Krishna and the Pandavas have no other recourse. War is imminent now. But war is not a nice thing. War only means lot of destruction of property, people, lot of pain, suffering to thousands and thousands of families. It's not a nice thing. That is why Sri Krishna decided, first I will go for mediation. But because it did not work, he and the Pandavas decided, let's go for the war. On the Pandavas side, they gather about 7 Akshohini. So this war is said to be the biggest war of the time. Like how some of you may have read in your history books, World War I, World War II. Like that, it was much bigger than that. They say almost all the major kingdoms participated in the Kurukshetra war. On the Pandava side, there were 7 Akshohini Sainya. On the Kaurava side, they could gather 11 Akshohini Sainya, much larger. In terms of number, Kauravas were outpowering. And Duryodhana thought, oh, I have bigger power. Because in him, there was an ignorance that physical strength is more powerful than the inner strength. He hadn't yet realized the truth. That is how he was. So he thought, I am destined to win. And right around that time, Sri Krishna decided to break the news of Karna's birth. As you all may recall, Karna was born to Kunti. But Kunti at that point of time was not yet married. So out of fear of what the society would say, she had decided to put Karna in a basket and float him down the river. And that is how he was received by the charioteer, his mother and father. And they had raised him. So because he was a Suta, the charioteer was called as a Suta, he was not considered as a king. So therefore, initially, when he wanted to combat with Arjuna, when the archery and other skills were being shown to all the people, Karna also felt, I am equal to Arjuna or much more than Arjuna. But he was stopped, saying, you are the son of a charioteer. You cannot participate. You are not equal to a Kshatriya prince. And that had insulted him deeply. And at that time, Duryodhana had offered him to give him part of his kingdom and accept him as his friend. Duryodhana did it out of the need to challenge Arjuna. He knew Arjuna is a very powerful archer. So he needed somebody who can stand in opposition to Arjuna. So keeping that in the mind, he had done this. But out of gratitude for whatever he had done, Karna was bound to Kauravas. See, this is where we need to see the action of Karna and the action of Vibhishana in Ramayana. Vibhishana knew what Ravana is doing is wrong, and he kept on calling it out. And he also decided to walk out of Ravana. So adharma not only should be accepted, it should be protested. One should stand up against it. Here Karna, out of a wrong understanding, he was full of gratitude for the friendship. Correct. Duryodhana was very friendly with Karna. Out of that gratitude, he should have shown him the right path, but instead he continued to support him, which eventually brings down Karna. But anyway, coming back, Sri Krishna decided that Karna should know his true birth. So he reveals that he is not really Sutaputra, but he is the eldest son of Kunti or Pandavas. And he tells him, you please come to the side of Pandavas and all the Pandavas will accept you and they will nominate you as the king. At that time, Karna says, no, I cannot walk away on Duryodhana. So on one side, he was right to give so much value to the friendship. But in the overall scheme of things, his conduct was still adharmic. So even Kunti tried to persuade him. He felt very love. He felt the deepest love towards Kunti. But still, he told Kunti that I cannot accept to move to Pandava's side. I will have to fight the war. Then Kunti said, whether you are killed or whether any of the Pandavas are killed, it is my children only who will be destroyed. I will feel the pain. Then Karna says, don't worry, mother. Even if I have to combat, I will only combat Arjuna. I will not bring any harm to any other Pandavas. This is my promise. So whatever may be the outcome, you will still be left with at least 5 Pandavas. Either I will survive or Arjuna will survive. Like that, he promised. It was very painful for Kunti and Karna and Krishna that, he decided that way. But so be it. That is how it was decided. Then, on the Kaurava side, he nominated Bhishma as the commander-in-chief to begin with. And on the Pandava side, it was Drishtadyumna who was the commander-in-chief. And they both met together. See, even a war is conducted in a way that people have to follow certain rules. That is how the dharma of the war was during those days. It was not that, they could do whatever comes to their mind during war. It had to be fought in a certain way only. So they wrote up and decided and agreed on certain rules. Eventually, various things happened in the Mahabharata war. We will talk about it later. But at the beginning of the war, these were some of the rules. That fighting must be only during the day and no fighting after the sunset. And after the sunset, if any of the people are hurt or if they need to be tended to, they all can be. But no fighting after the sunset. And one warrior will attack only one warrior. And when 2 warriors are fighting, it should be among the equals. If there is one on the horse, he will fight another on the horse. If one on the foot, he will fight another on the foot. Elephant. Like that, they have different grades. See, like in any of the organizations, you have different grades. In military, you have grades. There are foot soldiers, there are commanders, there are brigadiers. Like that, there are different ranks. So like that, there was Atirati, Maharata, like that different levels were there. So they decided when fighting happens, only the same level will fight with each other. If someone more powerful fights with someone less powerful, of course the more powerful will win. But that is not a good war. It is like a game. If let's say you're playing a game, let's assume you're playing a game of cricket. You would want to play it against someone who is a worthy opponent, not someone who is very weak to win. Like that was this. And if any soldier was injured, they should not be hurt further. If anybody wants to turn away from the war, they should be allowed to. Like that, they decided on various rules so that even the war is done in a way that it brings out the best behavior. They all decided to war, but war also should be done in a way that it is done rightly. So this much has happened till now. The stage is set now for Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra was decided to be the battlefield. Kurukshetra is a place even today in the northern part of India. That is where this battlefield was supposed to be. So on the Kauravas side, 11 Akshohini had gathered, 7 Akshohini on the Pandavas. And from now onwards, for the next 18 days, the war is going to happen. And this is the onset of Kurukshetra. What happens next from here? There's a lot of death and destruction. But also out of this, the greatest truth for the human's life in the form of Bhagavad Gita also emerged. So we will learn all of that in our next episode. Till then, my dear lovely children, Hari Om.